On this episode of Elevated and Unapologetic.
So this will be my 6th Christmas as a single parent. Trust the process. Keep leaning in. Keep showing up. I love waking up on Christmas morning. There's so much beauty in the simplicity of life. Hello, welcome back to Elevated and Unapologetic. I'm your host, Caitlin, and today, as you can tell by the title of this podcast, we're going to talk about being single on the holidays. Christmas in particular, because that's what we're embarking on right now. And this is the last episode of the podcast for 2025. We're moving into 2026. I'm already prepared mentally for 2026, and I feel like every single time I say 2025, I'm just I'm ready for the year to be over. It was a good year. I started this podcast, so it's been a good year. Also, I'm really enjoying this drink. I have to talk about it because it is absolutely divine. It's an eggnog latte in the cup that I made, by the way. Link in bio or on the screen or something. If you would like this mug, we could have coffee together. Eggnog latte, baby, it just hits. I don't know why, just hits. Eggnog and alcohol and eggnog and coffee. 10 out of 10. Never tried the two together. Maybe there's a drink there somewhere. So this will be my 6th Christmas as a single parent. And does it get easier? It just changes. I wouldn't say it's easier, but I think that things change and evolve, and we're going to get into what that looks like over the years. I understand firsthand what it's like to be crazy busy in the month of December, but I also understand the weight it carries, the emotional weight, the sadness, the loneliness, the despair. It's a hard season while it's also mixed with joy. It is such a crazy time of year. And we're in a season, if you're, on this side of the world, of darker days. There's snow where I live and the sun is shining today, but most of the time it's not shining. It's just dull and quiet. And I have learned to really appreciate it. Unfortunately, this is not going to be a let's sit in the discomfort together, although I'm really good at that. It's going to be how I've changed and appreciate this season now more than ever. So I think in order for you, the listener, to understand how I got here, we need to go back, rewind all the way back to the first Christmas that I was by myself. We were in the midst of moving, and I was moving from our matrimonial home into a small little condo that I had rented, and we had to sell so much of our stuff. So our place, we moved from 3,000 square feet to 1,000 square feet, and which is quite substantial. And it was really hard because my kids were young and they had to downsize all their things. I had to get rid of a lot of sentimental things. And the first Christmas was quiet, small, intentional. I tried so hard to give them the magic of Christmas on a budget because I'm a single mom now. I have one income. It was different because the traditions that I was now implementing were the ones that I was going to cherish, if that makes any sense. It was intentional. It wasn't commercially driven. It wasn't driven by consumerism. It was driven by connection. And so some of the things that we like to do are make cookies, watch Christmas holiday movies together, have popcorn. I make them little snack plates and we hang out. And this is through the whole winter season. This is not just for Christmas. This is something that we do for the whole season. We'll watch movies and we'll hang out and we'll play games, and it's driving connection. We'll go outside and we'll go sledding and we'll build snowmen and watch the snowfall. There's just so many different traditions and rituals that I like to carry through the winter season, not necessarily just the holidays. And at first it was really hard because I felt the pull towards what I'm doing now, but because it was so foreign, I felt like I was failing my kids. I felt like I was falling short and I wasn't able to give them all the extravagant gifts, and it didn't come from a store and there wasn't a lot under the tree. But as I've learned, there's a whole lot of love and there's a whole lot of joy and an opportunity for them to appreciate the slowdown of the season. Because winter is definitely showing us to rest and to take it slow and just to be present. And so that's kind of what I've started to do in our own family. That very first Christmas, being a single parent is so strange because you're falling apart, but falling together. Like, my life was falling apart, but then like I was also falling into being closer to my kids. So it was like this like mishmash of things. And like I said, we like to bake cookies. I have pictures that I reflect on because this was like so special to me. I literally had nothing. We still had boxes in the house that I kind of had shoved in a corner somewhere, and our tree was set up. But I remember making cookies with my kids, and we had so much fun. We had Christmas music on, and we made sugar cookies, which nobody really likes to eat them. I don't know about you, but nobody really eats the sugar cookies. It's just the process of making them and decorating them. So I went out, I got all these supplies, and we just had a blast making these cookies. And they made so many, hundreds of them, I swear. My kitchen was covered in flour. They ate their weight in sugar, and it was just good. It was just good to be able to chill out, relax, and actually be present in that moment when all I really wanted to do was curl up and cry because it was really sad. It was really hard to see how much my life had crumbled, because that's how I saw it. I saw it as like a crumbling. And here I am laughing in the kitchen as my kids are making these ridiculous cookies. And we also made gingerbread houses that year too. And just so much fun together. And that's when I realized that moment of like laughing with them and just creating this new memory as a single mom. I realized that I want to implement new traditions and be intentional, because the memory isn't because they were able to go into a Lego store and buy the best Lego set. It was the connection. It was the bond that we were starting to create in our new home. And even though our home was temporary, the home that I speak of when I speak of home is the one that we built together. The togetherness, because when we travel, we are home. We are home with each other. As I was saying about new traditions, this is such a cool part of parenting, because I don't know about you, but I don't have any specific traditions that I've carried through my childhood into adulthood. Although one thing I can tell you is don't buy an elf on the shelf, because that bitch will never leave. And I was talking to my best friend about this, and she's like, I would never, ever get an elf. And I'm like, don't. Nobody should ever get an elf. It is seriously the most, like, why are we adding more chaos to our already chaotic plate of Christmas? I just don't understand the elf. I did it for many, 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 many years. And she retired last year. Santa sent us a letter and said, she's retired, she's old, and she must retire. There were tears this December. Okay, folks, there was tears because the elf did not return, and she will not be returning ever again. Ever. But there is such a beauty in simplifying Christmas and showing up in the way that you would like your children to show up in the future. So I show up with the intention of slowing down, with the mindfulness, with the appreciation of the quiet and the snow, and then the fun. Like, what can we do outside? What can we do in nature to still, get active and to be an active participant in the snow and just to appreciate it? It's more about creating traditions that match your life, that are in alignment with the life that you're building, and not what looks good on Pinterest or Facebook. You know what I'm saying? The two don't always translate, because if I were to post what I do on Facebook or Pinterest, people aren't going to be like, oh, that's what I want. Because it's really simple. It's really simple. It is really beautiful. There's so much beauty in the simplicity of life. When we talk about the pressure that society places on parents during the holiday season, it comes from greed, corporate greed, right? Like, your kids need the best. They need to have 70 presents under the tree. I want you to recognize and understand that there is no guilt behind you choosing a more simpler life. There is no guilt in you choosing to hand make gifts together. There is no guilt in you slowing down and not giving in and feeding into that illusion of perceived happiness, because that's not happiness. That is pure chaos. I come from the mindset that everything that we need has already been made on the planet. Literally, I don't understand how we are still making more things when there are so many things still to purchase or accumulate. You know what I mean? There's so much. You walk into any store in your local area and you just are aware of how much is in that one store and there are millions of stores. How is that possible? How do we need more? It doesn't make sense to me. There's no guilt behind the fact that you are slowing down and being really intentional and purposeful in the life that you are creating. There is so much healing that can come from you slowing down in the wintertime. It is such a great time for you to pause, reflect, read books, journal, work on yourself, maybe introduce a new routine in the morning of working out or in the evening of working out and moving your body. Because we're not busy outside, we're mostly inside. So it gives you an opportunity to really connect with self and to take note of what your body needs and to start listening to those subtle cues, right? The holiday season pushes you to be busy, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be. You can pull back and check in and see what's going on with you. You are the most important person in your life. I say that all the time because it's true. But even with all of these new things that you're cultivating and introducing into your life, there is still the fact of the matter. You are alone. And that loneliness exists, especially around the holidays. People don't talk about it. Especially around the holidays, people ignore it and they continue moving forward as they need to because they're stressed the fuck out. But I want to talk about it. I want to talk about why it hurts so much to be alone on the holidays. I love waking up on Christmas morning. Oh my God, I love it. I love it so much. You wake up and there is just magic in the air. Okay, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my inner child and she's just like, it's Christmas. I know there's no presents under the tree. I know I don't have a stocking, okay? I know this, but I am so excited. My new tradition is I go for a run every Christmas morning and I get up super duper early and I get to watch the world wake up on Christmas morning. I love when it snows the night before because then I am the first person to put my feet on the snow and I can hear the crunching and I can see people's lights starting to go on. I can smell coffee brewing. Some people have their casserole in the oven and I can smell that. And I can feel the energy, the joy, the pulse of Christmas. And it is so beautiful. Christmas morning runs are the best thing I've ever done for myself, 100%. However, waking up Christmas morning alone is, man, drives me to feel very emotional because I did not have children to wake up not having them. Now, waking up without them on a normal day is hard, but waking up on Christmas and not hearing that giggle and the pitter patter of their feet to see if Santa came and to just have to sit in the space that you've created and cultivated alone, knowing that there's little people in the world that you are, a part of is really hard. And it's selfish, I understand, of me to want them all the time. But I do. I want my kids all the time. I want them home. I want them with me, especially Christmas morning. So I know what it's like to wake up alone. I know what it's like to wake up alone on Christmas morning without your children. And I know what it's like to have to sit in it and not have anybody to call and just feel all of the emotions, all of the sadness, and to be okay in feeling that and to understand and know that there's nothing wrong with you for having all of those emotions on Christmas morning. Now, I get my kids noon on Christmas Day, so I pull myself together and I'm so excited when they get home. We've created new traditions where we unwrap our stockings and then we'll go sledding and we'll have hot chocolate and we'll have a snack and then we'll slowly unwrap our presents until dinner time. And then the kids get to choose what they want. They always choose in advance what they want their Christmas dinner to look like because I don't believe that we need to eat certain foods at Christmas time. I think we can eat whatever we want. Sometimes we have burgers. Sometimes we have turkey. Sometimes we have pizza. We make our own. We could even have tacos. I really don't care as long as we are together. The food, sure, matters a little bit, but the most important part is that we're all sitting down and we're eating and we're sharing in the day, and it's just wonderful. And I think that takes so much pressure off of me to be able to just be like, whatever you want. It's Christmas. We can do whatever we want. And I love that freedom. There's a different kind of guilt and a different kind of pain that hits you when you're scrolling on social media and you're seeing, maybe you still follow your ex on there and you're seeing their perfect family photos of Christmas, even though you know behind the scenes that it was probably not a happy morning and your kids are probably really upset and they're going to be coming home to you with a lot of stress and trauma. Probably know that, but you're scrolling and you're seeing all these picture perfect happy mornings and matching pajamas and the gifts and the overdoing it and the extravagant essence of it all, and you're sitting there by yourself. Now, if you're single and childless and you don't have family, this can be so heavy. This can really weigh on you because you feel like you are maybe behind. Maybe you did something wrong. Maybe you didn't take the right path and now you've ended up here somehow. There's so much wallowing and self-doubt and self-criticism that can come from you looking on social media and then looking around and being like, well, Merry fucking Christmas to me, I'm alone. I want to encourage you to get off your phone. I want to encourage you to put it down and to really take stock of your life, whatever that looks like for you. I want you to remember that you have made decisions that are for you, not because it looks good on Instagram. You chose a life that is fulfilling just for you, and it does not have to make sense to anybody else. Half the shit you see on social media is fake anyways, so just take that with a grain of salt and keep on trucking. Now, if you're a single parent and you're scrolling and you're seeing your friends and you're seeing the people that you love are joyous and happy, allow that happiness to remain there and not turn into resentment. I know what it's like to watch your friends get spoiled at Christmas and to be with a loving partner that considers them and thinks of them. And you're sitting there with nobody, with nothing, waiting for your children to come home and feeling a twinge of jealousy, envy. That can turn into resentment. And that's not necessarily the whole picture or the whole truth. You're just feeling a certain way, rightfully so, because you're alone and you're healing and you're going through it. Try to take that out and just be happy for them. Again, get off your phone. Put it down. Social media probably isn't the best for people who are having a hard time around the holidays because it's going to be flooded with all the joy that people are feeling. There used to be like a version of myself, since we're talking about like seeing these friends or family members like putting on a show, basically presenting this life that doesn't exist. I used to have this longing, this ache within me to have family because I don't have family. And so I would see these like grandparents and they're all getting together and they're having all this fun and they're eating really good food and they've spent all day preparing. I used to get a little jealous because I had such a deep longing for family and to feel like I belong somewhere in the world. And that has since passed because I recognize, and I've worked with enough people, coaches, like coaching you, I know that families are crazy, absolutely crazy. If you're lucky to be born into a family that genuinely loves each other, count your blessings because it's not as common as you might think. There's so much toxicity that happens within a family dynamic that I just like, now that I've seen and witnessed what it looks like, I'm like, oh, I'm good. I like it over here. I like it in my bubble of happiness and joy that I have created, that I have been intentional with, and it doesn't have to make sense or look like anybody else's. And I'm okay with that. My happiness is different than everybody else's. I accept it and I'm okay with it. And you'll never be able to tell me otherwise. You'll never be able to tell me that my happiness and my joy needs to come from a store, ever. Or having a large group of people that actually don't genuinely love me. I'm good. You know, just because you might be the default parent does not necessarily mean that you have to be the default spender. Let me explain. I am the default parent. I have my children more than my co-parent does, and I do most of the child rearing. That's just how it is. Does not necessarily translate into me having to spend more, because I spend a lot more in energy. I spend more in time. But when it comes to financially, I spend it on experiences. We travel, we have so many different adventures together that is where the money facet comes in. And when it rolls into Christmas, How this translates into this, what we're talking about today, is I actually don't spend a lot of money on Christmas because my children's happiness does not come from a store, and I don't want them to associate the joy of Christmas with the gifts that they receive. Where my co-parent has the opposite. You should be happy because I gave you all this shit. And my kids now understand and appreciate the adventures, the time, the presence, the actual physical presence of you being there all the time, not just at Christmas. So if you're feeling like I don't have the money or the means to be able to give my kids tangible items, I want you to remember that they don't really take stock. If you ask your child, I dare you, I encourage you to go ask your child, what was your favorite gift last Christmas? And then I want you to ask them, what was your favorite memory from the year? And I bet you those two will be radically different. I asked my children, what was your favorite gift last year? And they don't remember. The only thing they remember is being able to travel. So that it's trips, it's experiences, it's the time that we spent, it's the time that they, made a mistake and we all laughed, or there was like this weird thing that happened and we all laughed, or had this like scary experience. Like it's the experiences that cultivate those memories. It's not necessarily the Lego set or the expensive purse or the shoes that they got for Christmas that they're going to remember. I think what I've done is deconditioned my children to separate love from price tags. There's such a difference between I genuinely love you and let me show you I love you versus I love you, here's this. Here, have it. That's all my love for you. Okay, now I'm going to disappear. Poof. No, that's not what they want. Some of the things that I'm saying to you today are because I wanted to hear it in year one. The things that I'm saying today, I wish someone told me my first Christmas. It's going to be okay, number one. Number two, things will evolve in such a beautiful way. Trust the process. Keep leaning in. Keep showing up. Be consistent. Dismantling the stories or the preconceived notions of how it should be is going to take time, but you have to give yourself the time to do that processing. Because once you dismantle it and take it all down and look at the bricks that are there, you can pick and choose the more stable bricks that you want to then implement into building the structure that you want to exist in. And for me, that was removing a lot of the nonsense of like, you need to have this brand in order to be happy. You need to go to this store. You need to buy this. You need to have this. All of that was removed because that's all stuff. I don't need this stuff. You know what I need? Love, connection, authenticity, community. I need people who are reliable. I need to make sure that I am also all of these things. So those are the bricks, right? Those are the things that we do. So through all of the 6 years, all the six Christmases that I've had, I have learned that there is so much importance around the strength and the resiliency of myself, but of humans. We are so capable and resilient. We will rise again. We will pull ourselves out of the muck and we will rise and shine again. You think that you only have a certain amount, like a certain capacity to be able to show up and to love and to care. And then that's just like expanded and molded and shaped. And you realize that there is so much more to life. The more that you sit with yourself, even in the winter and the quiet and these like hard moments that you're having right now, those are what's shaping you for the future. That is what's expanding you to have this capacity to empathize and to have awareness and to have the ability to show up, genuinely show up for people because you've been there and you know and you care. So that right now, this is so hard. I know how hard it is. I know how dark it is, and I know how unbelievably isolating it feels. But this is the moment that you get to expand yourself. This is the moment that you get to change and make all the decisions that are going to shape you for your future. I've said this sentiment before, and I feel like this sentiment applies today. You are, therefore it is. You need to trust in the gap. What does this sentiment mean to me when I think about it and when I really like sit in to this is you You are love. You are abundance. You are calm. You are peace. You are joy. Therefore, it is. Does this make sense? Are you getting it? Do you hear me? The more that you cultivate all these things, the more of it there will be. And that is true for the life that you are building and cultivating within yourself. And that's going to show outwardly into your children's lives, your relationships, your career. You are going to start embodying this and just be able to show up in the world this way. That is the beauty of all this work that you're doing on yourself. So I'd really like to move into talking to the people directly who are in this season, who are listening and are on their own holidays and it's dark. It's not bright. It's not cheerful. So if this is you, hi. I'm not even looking at the camera right now because I'm trying to envision where you are. Maybe you're sitting in your car, just finishing crying, or maybe you're about to cry. Maybe you're sitting at home watching me, feeling a connection, but unsure if this is true. Maybe, just maybe, you're preoccupied and I'm just in your ear and you're busy making cookies and rushing around and feeling the stress and the weight of the holiday season that society has placed on us. Wherever you are not failing. You are not behind. You are in the process of rebuilding. This is such a beautiful place to be. What a gift that you have received. This rebuilding, this being able to take brick by brick, intentionally placing them. What you want, what you don't want. This is something that not a lot of people get the opportunity to do. I know it's hard. I know it's heavy. I know some of the bricks weigh way more than the other ones, even though they all look the same. And in these moments where you feel like you are the only person experiencing this pain on the planet, although it might be unique to you, there is another person sitting here in her living room who has been there. I know exactly what it's like, baby. I know what it's like to feel it. So trust that if I can rise, then so can you. You have been the one to survive all your hardest days. And today is no different. So trust in that, okay? Nod your head in agreement. Wipe your tears. Put a smile on your face. And genuinely feel that happiness bubbling up inside you. And let it shine outwardly. You are not broken. You are just in a season of becoming and healing and doing the work. And it's going to be worth it. Baby, you're worthy. You're worthy of it, okay? As we close this year, as we close 2025, oh man, it has been such a crazy year. It's been a year of like shedding and restarting and pivoting and finding things that bring me joy, removing things that don't. It has been such a crazy year. I am so ready for what 2026 has. I feel like I've planted so many seeds over the last 6 years. I'm ready to start reaping, baby. Let's go. Let's see the harvest. Let's see the harvest. Thank you so much for your support and your love and just everything over the last year and the last 6 years. Thank you. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being in my little corner of the internet, actually in the corner of my house. Thank you for sitting with me. I'm just so incredibly grateful, literally, that I have the opportunity to reach people. I'm grateful for the internet, and I'm grateful that the algorithm has put me on your screen. I hope that you will share this with someone that you know is going through it. Maybe you share it with a friend. Maybe you share it with a coworker. Whoever it is, please share it. Please subscribe, please like, please go do all the things that will amplify my little life. And remember, you are never, ever, ever alone. Drink your water, get your little butt outside, and eat something delicious. Maybe it's a cookie, because it is the time of year. I love you so much, and I'll see you in 2026. Goodbye.